How's it going, Sunbird Nation? Hope your day is going swell. One of my subscribers asked me if I would talk about the map bleed and how it works and maybe to make a video. So I aim to please, so here we are. This is my intake manifold and this is my map bleed, which looks like a homemade one. I'm sure you can buy them more professional looking, but in the end they all do the same thing. They just bleed off boost before it reaches your map sensor right here. Mine, as you can see, is teed into the feed line to the map. And all this thing does is there's a spring and a ball inside. And when you loosen this lock nut and adjust this thumb wheel, you're increasing or decreasing pressure, tension on the spring and the ball. You're allowing more boost to bleed out of this hole or less boost to bleed out of the hole. It's as simple as that. If you want to take it apart, I'll do it one-handed here because I'm super talented. You'll see all this is a thumb wheel with a spring and a ball. Check ball. That's it. Those are all your functional pieces. All you're doing is creating a manual adjustable boost leak. So let's say 12 PSI is the cut point in our computers. I think it is, I can't remember for sure. So at 12 PSI, the map sensor will say, hey computer, this thing's over boosting. Pull the timing out of it, pull the spark out of it, pull the fuel out of it, let this thing go flat in its face so it doesn't hurt itself. That's what it's doing. So what you do is you put in your map bleed and you adjust it. Take it for a ride and you see if it still cuts out at 12. If it does, and then you have to back off the tension. You're lessening the tension on the spring and the ball with this thumb gizmo here. That's all you're doing is letting more bleed out of the hole. That's it. There's the hole, that's what boost will come out. And little by little, you find the sweet spot where the fuel cut and the timing cut and whatever cut it is stops. It stops working because you're telling the computer and the map sensor, hey, guess what? You're not seeing more than 12 PSI of boost. Everything's wonderful. But in reality, the engine is seeing 15, 18, 20, 30, whatever you're daring enough to put through this thing before it explodes. So that's how a map bleed works. You're just lying to the computer by fooling it. The danger with that is the computer doesn't see more than, say, 12 PSI. So the computer is fueling for 12 PSI, and the computer is sending timing advance for 12 PSI. So if you're running crazy with the boost, you run the great risk of popping a head gasket, melting a piston, shortening the rods, all kinds of wonderful things like that. So you got to be careful. You know, as with everything in the turbocharged engine, moderation is your friend. Little increases in boost, little increases in timing. Blah, 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 blah. Don't go crazy and get greedy because then you'll eat the rod bearings and blow head gaskets and break things. Ask me how I know. I've been there and done that. So I get greedy. I paid the price. So learn by my example. So that's how it works. It's as simple as that. So again, you put it in your car, take it for a ride, and you see what you get. If you don't get the boost you want, you know, it's cutting the computer out, then you back it off a little bit, let it leak a little more, and a little more, and a little more, until you get what you want. But again, don't get greedy. You know, luckily the Turbo Sunbird original computer chip, you know, the mapping of it, if you want to call it that, it runs rich because there's no intercooler. So GM dumped fuel in it to cool it off, to avoid detonation. It's only going to get you so far. It will detonate at some point. So my original engine, I went as high as, I think the most I got out of that Grand Prix T28 turbo was 17 pounds. It wouldn't make any more than that. I never blew anything up. I mean, the poor thing had 107, 108,000 miles on it. It was blowing oil when I was done, but what happened was the fuel pressure regulator dislodged the diaphragm. If you ever look at the stock regulator, I don't have one anymore, but the stock regulator is just a diaphragm pinched between the two halves of the regulator itself. It's got upper and lower, like two flying saucers pinched together. It physically pulled out of that crimp. So it just dumped fuel in the engine. I think it gas washed the rings. Had it not been for that, it might have lived a longer, happier life. I mean, it still ran fine. It just was starting to blow oil. I mean, but again, it's a 107, 108,000 mile engine that I beat the shit out of for the last, I don't know, probably 4,000 or 5,000 miles. So anyway, I always caution people when they start modifying these things, I don't know if my regulator was a freak and it just happened to me, or if that is a weak spot in these things, or it's because I had over 100,000 miles. But I would be careful of putting too much boost through the stock fuel pressure regulator. I think the one I have was a Paxton. I don't remember anymore. I think it's a Paxton or a Vortec. I can't remember. But anyway, that is something you have to run the risk of. You increase boost, you're going to start breaking stuff. It's as simple as that. Just be careful and go slow. That's all. So anyway, I hope that helps. It's a very simple device. You can buy them online. You can make your own. I got this one from Ned Southwick way back when I first bought my car in 2003. If you know who Ned Southwick is, I'd probably bring a smile to your face hearing his name. If you don't know who Ned is, to my knowledge, he was the original Turbo Sunbird guy. He used to run an ad online on the forums that said, Turbo Sunbird owners, I have your speed cure or speed secret. It sounded like a complete bullshit ad, but Ned do his stuff. His car ran, according to him, it ran high 12s. I think he was running 8th mile, though, and making the conversion and the math, but whatever the case. I don't want to take anything away from the guy. He was the original. His car was fast. So I bought this from him. I'm sure it's the same one I've had forever. And my boost controller, too, I bought from him, which, again, is just you buy a master car, you put the pieces together, and you're done. So that's how it works. So anyway, any further questions, let me know. If I am off a little bit on my description, I apologize. I've said 100 times, I'm not an engineer. I'm just a guy who fixes cars. I've had this car a long time. I've learned a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. I know what worked for me and what didn't work for me, but I can't say you'll be as lucky, or maybe you're luckier. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not here to say everything I say is the gospel, Bible truth. You want to adhere to what I say. I'm just saying that this is what I know to be true. So if I'm off a little here and there in my description, I apologize. So that's it. Any other questions, let me know. I truly appreciate anybody who watches my videos and subscribes. Last time I checked, I was at 299 subscribers. That's very exciting. What do you do with 300 subscribers? I don't know. I do a great burnout with the Sunbird, but as you can see, the engine's still out of it, sitting over there. There's the engine right there. It's coming together, but there's no engine in it, so I can't do a smoky Sunbird burnout of 300 subscribers. Sorry. I don't know. What do people do? Like, they do face reveals. Who the hell wants to see me? Who gives a shit what I look like? So I don't know. We'll think of something. Maybe we'll have a giveaway contest. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. If not, you get what you pay for. See you later.